Hey everyone, so we have today the original Microsoft RT tablet that was launched back in October of 2012, and then here we have our Surface Pro 3 that was launched in June of 2014. So the RT was the first generation of its kind from Microsoft in the Surface line. It came with Windows RT installed. RT stands for runtime. And the processor inside this was an ARM processor. It actually was a quad-core. It is a quad-core NVIDIA Tegra 3 processor. Because it's ARM, ARM technology was designed for mobile devices that are mobile, so the batteries don't have that much power. So ARM processors were designed to be very, very efficient when it came to power consumption. The downside to that, of course, is because it's not an Intel chip, it's not it's not a true Windows platform in that it can run Windows applications. The Pro 3, however, has Intel processors inside it. Actually, the Pro 3 has there were three options. It was the i3, the i5, and the i7, and they're all Intel chips. And the Intel chips in the Pro 3 are the fourth generation Intel chips. The Pro 4 recently launched. That one has in 6th generation Intel chips. So let's look at some other attributes. So when it comes to screen size, the RT has a 10.6-inch screen. It has 5-point multi-touch technology. The Pro 3 has a 12-inch screen, and that also has 5-point multi-touch technology. From a resolution perspective, the RT has it has an aspect ratio of 16:9. So does the Pro 3. As far as pixels, this has 1366 times 768 pixels, which is about 148 pixels per inch. The Pro 3 now has 2160 times 1440, or 216 pixels per inch. So obviously, a much better screen, a larger screen, and a better screen. And from a dimensions perspective, this little kid here, it measures 10.81 inches across, 6.79 inches wide, and about 0.35 inches thick. The Pro 3, it's a little longer at 11.5 inches, 7.53 inches wide, and it's a little bit thicker at 0.36 of an inch. On the side here, you see there's a USB 2.0 port, full size. This has a full-size USB 3.0 port. At the top here on the Pro 3, you have your mini display port. On the RT, you have an HD video out port. All right. Now both of them do have a little slot along the bottom here where you can put in a micro SD card. You can go up to 64 gigabytes here for additional storage on that card. On the Pro 3, you can go up to 128 gigabytes. All right. The type cover for the RT versus the type cover for the Surface Pro 3. You can see that the Surface Pro 3 is actually larger, right, than the type cover for the RT. They both have pressable keys that are separated, and they all are within the same plane, so they don't protrude. None of them protrude above the plane, so that's the similarity between the two. The trackpad on the RT, it feels grainy to the touch and cheap and plasticky. And then the button, you have to really press hard. It's a pretty clunky button. The Surface Pro 3, it's actually a smoother feel. Your finger actually glides easier across the trackpad. Trackpad is obviously larger. And another thing to note, on the RT, it's floppy, it's very loose, so when you put this on your lap, it's going to flop around. But what they did on the Surface Pro 3's type cover, the lip actually connects to the bottom, along the bottom there, so it's more rigid and stable. So you can keep this on your lap and type away, and you're good. You're good to go, right? It feels more like a real laptop. Now, if you look here, the RT's keyboard is not backlit. However, it is backlit on the Surface Pro 3. Now, one thing I want to mention: the kickstand on the Pro 3, it's actually variable, and it sticks. So within its range of motion, you can adjust it to any angle you want, and it will stick. And I've stress tested this, and it works very well. On the RT, however, you only get one angle, and that's that. It just sits like that. You cannot adjust it any other way. So that was one little hindrance, I would say, based on the RT. Well, there are two hindrances, or two cons, I would say. One, the ARM processor restricts the number of apps you can run, and the kickstand wasn't all that great. But hey, it was the first generation, so of course it would have some flaws. Now the RT, Microsoft claims you can get up to 8 hours of normal usage on this. The Pro 3, you can get up to 9 hours. And from a sensors perspective, Pro 3 comes with a compass. It has an ambient light sensor. It has an accelerometer. It has a gyroscope. The RT also has an ambient light sensor, an accelerometer, and gyroscope. But it also has something called a magnetometer as well. If you want to know what a magnetometer is, Google it. Now, of course, the RT is lacking a Surface Pen. The Pro 3 has a nice little Surface Pen. The Surface Pen for the Pro 3 has two mouse buttons on it at the bottom here. It has a tip here at the top, which I believe is replaceable, and it has a button at the top, a plastic button that if you press it, it actually opens OneNote. For some reason, I think the battery's dead in it, so it's not working right now. But when you press it, OneNote should come up on the screen, and you can use OneNote to jot notes and whatnot. Now, the RT comes with 2 gigabytes of internal storage, so 2 gigabytes of RAM, and you have two onboard memory flavors. You get it's a 32 gigabyte, and there's a 64 gigabyte version. The Pro 3 has a little bit more options. You actually have 4 gigabytes or 8 gigabytes of onboard RAM, and you can choose from 64 gigabyte, 128 gigabyte, 256 gigabyte, or even 512 gigabytes of onboard memory, SSD memory. Now, they both support Bluetooth 4.0 and Wi-Fi. Both are compatible with the 802.11 A, B, G, and N formats for Wi-Fi. Now, one of the disadvantages of the RT keyboard, there are two actually. One, the keyboard is not backlit, and two, the hinge here it flops around. So if you put this on your lap, it could easily fall off your lap. So it doesn't really mimic a true laptop experience. So that being said, what Microsoft did on the Pro 3, they put this lip at the top of the keyboard so that when you press it against the screen, it tips in place. That makes it more rigid and more stable and feels like a real traditional keyboard, so it can rest on your lap and it won't fall off. There you have it, guys. This is a rough high-level overview of the RT, the first of its kind to come out and set the trend going. And here's its brother here that came out 2 years later. So this came out in October of 2012, and this came out in summer of 2014, roughly 2 years later. And the Surface Pro line is designed to compete against the Apple MacBook Air. So yeah, so that's it. You guys have a great day. Bye bye.